Welcome back. Same outfit, different video. This is number 3 of me talking to you about things that have helped me evolve beyond blushing Phoenix and beyond erythrophobia over the past 8 months since moving from Tennessee to South Carolina. And we're gonna jump right into it. Oh, there's 2 other videos. Obviously, I said this is number 3, so if you haven't seen those, be sure to go check those out. There's we got our first episode and second episode. It's a long list, so I wanted to be able to get those all out here in 3 separate videos so it doesn't overwhelm you. But let's jump into some additional things that I did to transform my life and move beyond erythrophobia. Move your body. No shock. These are things we hear all the time. We see it all the time, is you just got to move your body. And this goes back to one of the videos, I don't remember now, where I talked about somatics. I think it's in video number 1. Talking about somatic, talking about moving your body, talking about letting energy flow and move and getting your body moving. It literally changes your life. There's just something about getting your body moving. It reminds you, for me, it reminds me that I'm alive. When you do a good workout or a yoga session or some good stretching and you just feel your body come alive and you're sweating or you're feeling your heart beat a little bit faster, you come alive. You remember that you're alive. It's something about feeling life in your body that, for me, it just wakes me up to all the possibilities and all the things I can do. So there's 5 million quadrillion, I don't know if there's really that many, but there's a lot of videos out on YouTube. You can find stuff on Pinterest. Search the internet. There is no lack of how-tos or videos. I've even seen videos that are like 5-minute lazy girl workout. Move your body. Here's the next one. Life is not happening to you. It is happening for you. What are you doing with it? And how are you taking ownership? So I have heard beyond my circle, in the internet, in my circle, wherever, so many victims. So many victims. I'm a victim. This is happening to me. The universe is doing this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm like, okay. Stop living your life like everything's happening to you. That is disempowering. It's like you're sitting around, things are hitting you, attacking you, absorbed. You're absorbed in the drama of everything that's happening around you. Life is always going to be happening. But if you can reframe from it's happening to me to it's happening for me, then you can feel more empowered about what you're going to do about it. So if something's happening to you and you're sitting in it and you're talking about it and you're journaling about it and you're talking to your therapist about it, it's one thing to talk about it, to get it out, but then what are you doing with it? Because I look at my life and I look at all the things that have happened around me and I see in hindsight how this traumatic thing led to this thing, and now this is serving me really well. And so that's why you hear a lot of times people will say, even in their darkest times, they'll go, I would never have that be done differently because it has led me to where I am now. If you're growing, if you're evolving, and if you're taking in the things around you that are happening and you start reframing that into it's happening for me versus happening to me, then you can do something about it. So I just challenge you to think about the things that are happening for you and what you're gonna do about it, because it is your thinking and it is your behaviors and it is your decisions and it's your conversations that are leading to your outcomes. If you want a new outcome, you have to change all the things that are leading up to that. What are your habits? What are you thinking? Who are your friends? What environments are you in? What are you talking about? What are you reading? What are you watching? What are you scrolling and looking at on social media? If you want your life to change, you got to change those habits that are happening throughout your day in order to get different outcomes. Next, self-worth. I've talked about this in quite a few videos. You can go back and check those out. It just sounds so elementary to me, like self-worth, duh. But that was a big thing for me, especially when it comes to blushing or just feeling insecure, is that I was looking for validation from the world around me. And here's the thing about attention and validation and affirmation and all those things. It's awesome to get. I love it. It's amazing. But as soon as you get it, it can be taken away. And so you will ride these highs and lows of being given and extracted and given and taken away and all of these things if you are following the path of validation. Self-worth is you determining what you're worth. the value that you bring to the world around you, regardless of what anybody else thinks or feels or says, it doesn't matter. I have found myself in situations where I am looking for validation from the person across the room or in the meeting or whatever. And when I feel myself feeling small and I feel my nervous system kicking in with like fight or flight, I remind myself, no, they don't get to determine my worth. Only I get to determine it. What do I think about me? Who do I say I am? So I would challenge you to spend some time with yourself, journaling like crazy, meditating like crazy, to figure out, who do you think you are? Because if you are trying to manipulate the outside world to make you feel safe, you are in bondage. And you are, if you look at a narcissist over here who's controlling everything, you're on the other side of narcissism. You're like two sides of the same coin. I guess you could, whatever, you know what I mean? So, why can't I do, okay, there we go. Two sides, same coin. Narcissist, people pleasers, codependent. They're the same person. I'm gonna leave you with that. Next up, hold on, my phone shut down. We're getting close to the end. Trust myself. I remember so many times over the past 8 months saying, you know what? I trust myself. I don't need to tell myself that today's the last day I'm gonna have a drink, because we'll talk about this another day, but alcohol played a big role for me during the pandemic. And I started feeling like all this guilt about it and like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm drinking too much and I should cut that out. I didn't drink like this before the pandemic. And then I started realizing like, I trust myself. If I want to stop, I'll stop. If I want to have some drinks, I'll have the drinks. I don't know where the guilt is coming from. Why do I feel like I can't have the drinks? I work and I don't drink while I work. I like to go out on the weekends or go out with my husband and enjoy a couple of beers. I love tequila. Now, it's not great for me if I'm trying to hit goals, and but it served me through a season of my life, and I just felt so much guilt around it. And then I started realizing, you know what? I trust myself. If I want to stop, I'll stop. And I will tell you, coming into the new year, actually coming up to the end of the year, I was like, you know what? I'm done. And I just kind of stopped. I'm not saying I don't drink at all, but I definitely have gone back to like every once in a while. And, but I just had to trust myself and stop feeling this guilt about like, I should be doing this, or I should not be drinking, or I should do this, or I should do that. I'm like, this is my season. It's just a season of life. And I needed to really explore where the guilt was coming from and where the thought of I need to do this, and this way came from. And it really came from a lot of my like religious background and things that from years ago that had been taught to me in a religious way. And I was like, I don't believe that or think that anymore. So letting that guilt go, realizing that I trust myself, and yeah, trust yourself. It's not just alcohol. It's like anything. People I talk to, setting my boundaries, being able to say I'm going to do a workout and actually showing up to do the workout, saying that I'm going to go to bed early and actually taking care of myself and going to bed early. Like just trusting myself and having respect for myself. Another thing that really helped me is, you guys know that I work for somebody, and a big thing for me was that I was always trying to I had these side hustles. I want to be my own boss. I don't like being told what to do. I'm an entrepreneur, doing all my things. I'm a creative. And then I realized when I started working for the place that I work at, that they were not treating me like an employee. They were treating me like a partner. I have so much autonomy, flexibility. I am trusted. I remember so many times talking to my boss and asking for direction, and he would go, I don't know, you're the expert, you tell me. And I'm like, what? So for like 2 years, I had to decompress from like dictatorship and narcissistic environments to like partnering with a company and being a voice in that company and an expert in that company. And what it did was it kind of threw me for a loop and made me realize like, I need to go back and revisit what do I want, because I realized that it's not that I wanted to have my own business. I didn't want to be told what to do, and I didn't want somebody controlling my time. And so in the place that I work now, I'm not necessarily being told what to do, and nobody's controlling my time. So it was the feeling that I wanted more than the actual, like, I want to be an entrepreneur. And so I had to let my brain digest that and be okay with, okay, you're getting the feeling that you wanted. What now? And it's letting go of these old ideals of like, I have to have this in order to feel fulfilled. No, I feel incredibly fulfilled. Is that okay? And becoming okay with it is unfolding the way it should. That's been a huge healing point for me, is that it's not that it's a specific thing that I wanted. It's an experience that I wanted. It's a feeling that I wanted, and I have it. So I didn't need to keep striving and chasing this thing down. And the last one. I've talked about this before. It could be controversial because I'm talking about Andrew Tate, but whether you like him or you don't like him, or you agree with him or you don't agree with him, or I don't think anybody agrees with everything he says, but there are some really good things that he has said in the past. One of the things that really resonated with me that I heard him say one time was, he was on a talk show and he was like so confident in saying this. He said, "I can't be depressed. I can absolutely not be depressed." And the host was like, "What do you mean you can't be depressed? It's like, it's clinical and it's all blah." He was like, "I cannot be depressed because I don't believe in it." Now, I know that got people up in arms like crazy. Oh my gosh, it's clinical and it's this and it's chemical and it's this and it's that. That's why I tell you all, if this resonates with you, we are all so different. We are wired different. We feel different. Some of us are logical. Some of us are intuitive. Some of us are Pisces. Some of us are Libras. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're an Enneagram 4, you're an Enneagram 8. We're so different. I don't expect everybody to agree with every single thing I say. I am not talking to every single person on this channel. I'm talking to you who you are listening and you go, "Oh my gosh. Has she been reading my journals? Has she been in my thoughts? Has she been in the shower with me when I'm thinking about these things?" That's who I'm talking to. But when he said that, I was in the depths of postpartum depression. And it's part of what saved my life. I can't be depressed because I don't believe in it. And it made me realize how we're just a thought, a belief away from life or death. I don't want to discredit anybody who believes what they believe. Anybody who is on medication, anybody who's been in psych wards, you got to do what you got to do. But for me, it is the belief of something that leads us deeper into that thing. And we are in a society that is pushing medication, that's saying everybody has ADHD. Truly, there was a shortage of medications for ADHD. My son, who is absolutely diagnosed with impulsivity and ADHD, we were having the hardest time getting him medication. And he had a terrible first semester at school because everybody, because it was a craze, it was a trend, it was a thing, ADHD, ADHD, ADHD. I even went to the doctor to talk to my doctor about ADHD. And you know what she told me? "I'm not prescribing you anything." And I remember being really pissed off about that. Like, are you kidding me? I finally got the nerve up to talk about ADHD with somebody. And she said, "You are just like every other person. We all are distracted. We all feel this way." And I remember coming back home, not sure how I felt about that. But I can tell you this. After I started sharing, doing some of the things that I shared with you here, like meditating, getting alone, getting better sleep, eating better foods, knocking out some of the alcohol, I just started to feel clarity. I started to feel clear around the things that I needed to do, and doing the things that I felt so much resistance around and so much clutter in my mind. Like, I remember trying to do a task and being like, I literally can't do it. It's painful in the inside. I can do those tasks like without even thinking about it now. And I'm not medicated. So it just made me think about how many of us are buying into the idea of, well, this fits what I've got going on. So maybe I believe now that I have ADHD, and those symptoms become stronger because I believe that I have it. When she told me no and I started trying to incorporate these other things, all of a sudden I stopped focusing on ADHD, and then I didn't have the symptoms anymore. Again, if this resonates with you, it may be for you. If you feel that you are truly diagnosed and you believe that you have this diagnosis and you got to have your medication, it's not for you. Because if you believe that and you need that, then that's for you, and there's another channel for you. But I have my own experience, and I know that I am so grateful that I am not medicated for ADHD, and I wanted to be, but I don't have those symptoms anymore. It's not in my algorithms anymore, constantly telling me that I have it. And if anything, what I realized was that I actually think that a lot of those ADHD symptoms had to do with unresolved trauma in my body. And then once I started to purge all of that out, all of those symptoms went away. Like, I can still totally identify with a person who has ADHD, but even the people I know who are adults that I know that are diagnosed with ADHD and take medication, they're still not disciplined. They're still not accomplishing things. Like, they may feel more steady in the things that they do get done, but they are rattled. They're constantly in turmoil in their minds, and they aren't accomplishing much more. So anyway, I know all that can be super controversial, but here we are. Welcome to April Poynter. If you're sticking around, you might get some more of this. All right, my friends, well, I'm going to shut down this video. This is the end of the 3 video series that I've done on the things that have totally transformed my life in the 8 months that I have moved from Tennessee to South Carolina. And I'm excited to talk about more of this stuff here, things that are on my mind, things that I'm realizing with people who want to grow, who want to evolve, who want to really get beyond the life that they were told they were supposed to have, or the limitations of their families and the group think, and you just feel like you absolutely think and feel different, but you don't know how to express that, and the people around you aren't talking about it, so clearly something's wrong with you. Nothing's wrong with you. Well, actually, something is wrong with you. You know what it is? You're not mediocre. You're made for more, and your soul is like pulling you towards more. And so here we are. So I hope you will come along for the journey. I hope you'll stick around.